Welcome back, Axis and Allies player, Wars of the World, Series 2, the American Revolution. Take it, Nato.
Hello everybody, this is Nato at the Nest, and this is the first half of the 1782 turn. Sorry, totally had a brain fart there. So first half of 1782 turn of the American Revolution. And if you notice, there is no French or Spanish forces on the board anymore. Well, that's because France and Spain have dropped out. France mostly because they were bankrupt and had no money left to continue the fighting. From years of dumping in what would have been in today's money millions of dollars into funding the American war, and Spain mostly because it accomplished its goals in the Caribbean, and that's all it was really interested in. So historically this was more or less the end of the war. Technically the war went on for another 2 years, but in terms of fighting and the scale of fighting, there was skirmishing here and there, but realistically the large scale fighting was over and the war was pretty much over. So I'm still kind of on the fence on this, whether to end the scenario here, to more closely follow what happened historically, or continue it out to the actual treaty that was signed between England and America, where England recognized American independence, which didn't happen until 1783. So, haven't decided yet. I think for now I'm just going to play out the last 4 turns just to see what happens. Because now America has lost its naval shield, so now England is now free to buy a bunch of transports and load them up and start sending large armies to North America again. As you can see, that's what England did, bought 4 transports, and so next turn they'll start sending them across the Atlantic. America, for its part, it attacked New York, did cause 3 casualties for the cost of 1 of their own, and then just moved forces north to continue the attacks. And that was it for the turn, so the next 3 turns are going to be super quick because it's just America and England involved. So we'll see what happens for next turn, second half of 1782. See you then. Hello everybody, this is Nato at the Nest with the second half of 1782, the American Revolution. And England just played defense, just reinforced where it could, and then loaded up every transport it had available, and loaded it up to the gills with troops and sent it across the Atlantic in a last-ditch effort to save its North American campaign. America attacked New York again and wiped out over half of the standing British Army in New York, and then they also invaded New England and got 1 hit off of it, and and didn't receive any casualties in return. And America did that to cut off the flow of reinforcements from Canada to New York and to isolated New York. So the only way England can get help to New York is by sea now. And that brings us to the focal point of what happens next, because where England lands that army will decide the fate of the war and who wins this. As right now it's sitting at 5-4. America has 5 points, England has 4 points, and next turn will be the second to last turn. So that means this is the last reinforcements England can get to America. Anything it launches from England right now won't get there in time, so this is it. So where England lands will decide who wins this war. And they got, 3 options: land in New York, land in New England, or land somewhere south. And no matter where they land, they're sacrificing something else. If they land in New York, they're sacrificing New England, and then that will tip their hand, and America can just throw everything it has into New York. And even if America doesn't take New York, they still win, because 5-4. If they land in New England, they're pretty much just hoping that the current forces in New York can hold on long enough for them to secure New York or New England and then turn south. And or go to the northeast. But once again, if that attack fails, or if America manages to bog down that advance from the north, America wins. If they land anywhere south, they're basically rolling the dice and hoping New York and New England can hold out, because if either of those fall, even if they take somewhere south, if New York or New England falls, that's it, it's game over. So anywhere they land is a risk. It's not a guaranteed victory. So the calculation is, where do they land that gives them the best chance of success. So, and right now I have no idea what that is. So this is interesting. This is interesting, and this is awesome. This is a nail biter finish for this scenario, because it all comes down to this landing, where those troops go. So we'll see we'll see what England decides to do, and we'll see what happens next turn, and start of a new year for the war, and the last year, 1783. Sorry. Hello everybody, this is Nato at the Nest with the first half of 1783 of the American Revolution. And I agonized over this for quite a while. I decided landing in the Carolinas gives the British the best chance of winning. If they can land in the Carolinas, or go south, land somewhere in the south, take the territory, and then hold off the inevitable American counterattack, that will allow them to win, assuming New York and New England hold. I miscalculated the distance, and it looks like England can land one more group, so if they land that in New York, it looks like New York will hold. So New York and New England will more than likely hold. So it all comes down to this: if they can land somewhere in the south and take the territory and hold it, they will win. England will win. So what England did this turn is reinforce New York, reinforce New England. America attacked both, and New England battle was inconclusive. No one hit anything. They battled for New York. America whittled the British down to only 3 infantry. Just couldn't quite get the extra push to take it. And then, so foreseeing the British landing somewhere in the south, it reinforced Washington and reinforced the Carolinas. So if England lands in the Carolinas, hopefully the militia can hold them off, and then the forces in Washington can counterattack from the north, and secure the southern flank of the Americans. And England went south and then loaded up that transport to guarantee the north. So, like I said, it all comes down to this battle right here: who will win the war. So I'll come back with the second half of 1783, the last turn of the war, and we'll see who wins. It's definitely a nail-biter, cliffhanger ending, so I'll be right back and we'll see who wins.